Hello everyone. In this session, let's construct a DFA to accept binary strings that contain a substring 011. So we know that the mathematical model deterministic finite automata can be represented by 5 tuples Q, sigma, delta, Q naught, and F, in which Q represents the states in the automata, sigma represents the input symbols. Here, as it is given as binary string, input symbols are 0 and 1. Let us consider the initial state to be Q naught and final state to be F. Let us denote the transitions as delta, which which is represented as from any one state. On getting any one input symbol, the transition will happen to any other state, one state. Now let us construct the automata for this problem. So Q naught is the initial state. Let us mark this Q naught as initial state. Now, as per the question, it has to contain 0, 1, 1. Therefore, the basic string which is accepted by this DFA is 0, 1, 1. So, on reading 0, there will be a transition. Again, after reading 1, there will be a transition. And again, after reading another one, there will be a transition. That is, from Q naught, it can read a 0 and move to the state Q1, and again it can read a 1, move to state Q2, and again it can read a 1 and move to Q3. Now this basic string will be accepted by this DFA. In such case, our Q3 becomes the final state. So whenever the automata is to be constructed, first step is to construct such a base, the automata that is accepting the basic unit, that is the first string in that language. A minimum string that could be accepted will be 0, 1, 1. Then it may be either have some values in the beginning and at the end. So it can have any number of zeros or ones in the beginning. So on 0 we have already represented the transition. Therefore on 1 it can be in the self loop. That is, the string can begin with 1 followed by 0, 1, 1, and it can end with any number of zeros or ones. So which means the string that is either beginning with 1 or 0 but having 0, 1, 1 as a substring, which may or may not end with any number of zeros and ones, is accepted by this automata. Now to consider the other type of strings, we have to check the possibility at every state. So in state Q0, we have seen the possibility of both 0 and 1. Now in Q1, if it reads a 0, then the first checking is to be done with the self loop and then with the other states. Now if the on reading input 0, if it remains in the same state, then 0, 1, 1, there is a possibility of completing this substring. Therefore, we can have 0 in the as a self loop. So 0, 1, 1, it is the substring is present in the given string. Now in Q2, if it reads a 0, then the sequence is disturbed. That is 0, 1, 1 should be the substring. But here if it reads a 0, then the substring read would be become as 0, 1, 0. In such case, the automata should ensure that it reads 011 as substring again. Therefore, on reading a 0, if it goes to the previous state, then there is a possibility of 011. Therefore, let's make the transition from Q to Q1 as 0. So in this case, when a 0 comes, it goes to Q1 and then again it reads 1, 1 to reach the final state. That is how 011 substring is read before reaching the final state. And now we have already represented if 0 or 1 comes in Q3. Thus, the completion of DFA. Once the possibilities are done for all the states, we end with the problem. Therefore, this is the equivalent DFA that accepts any binary string that contains 011. So the transition table would be Q0 on 0, it goes to Q1. Q0 on 0, it goes to Q1. Q0 on 1, it remains in Q0 itself. Q1 on 0, it goes to Q1. Here it should be Q1. And Q1 on 1, it goes to Q2. Q2 on 0, it goes to the previous state Q1, and Q2 on 1 goes to Q3. Now in Q3 on both 0 or 1, the automata remains in the Q3 state itself. This is the transition table. Just the regular expression can be now represented as 011, 011, and in the front it can have any number of zeros and ones, and at the back it can have any number of zeros and ones. So it is represented as 011 preceded by 0 or 1 the whole star and succeeded by 0 or 1 the whole star. So thus the problem ends. Thank you.